You managed to get your main up to a point where you want it to be, but it's time to start expanding the roster and get even more characters. Especially as a brand new player, it may seem like a big task to get yourself 1, 2, 3, 4, even 5 more characters on that roster. Where do you even start, and what are some tips and tricks you can use along the way? So let's get started on the guide from getting a new alt all the way up to 1580. Why only up to 1580 eye level? It is super simple because after 1580 everything will cost you gold to hone, which is not efficient. You want to just use that on your main characters instead. So here we have a Reaper called Backstabbing, but there you can see they're already level 50 and 500 eye level. So let me show you guys a little trick as well. You've done the tutorial and you've arrived inside of Pride Home. Of course, if this is not your first character and it's actually going to be your first alt, in the top right there will be a button called Knowledge Transfer. So you'll be ending up over here near the knowledge transfer machine vault. So in here, you can go ahead and knowledge transfer your first character for 600 gold. So you need 600 gold technically to get an alt started. It's not that much gold, so just go ahead and gather that if you want to. And if you go ahead and complete this knowledge transfer for 600 gold, you will get yourself a level 50 character with some gear and 500 eye level. So this is why, in my opinion, it's super duper worth it to get started like this. As well, I don't know if everyone gets this nowadays right off the bat because of the new power pads and stuff, but okay, 3, 2, and 1. Before you're gonna get started with honing your character, be sure to double check this in your stronghold, because I do not know if everyone gets this right off the bat when you go ahead and get yourself a power pass character. It's gonna be these tier increased success rates for honing on lower eye levels. You can see it's gonna be for tier 2, for tier 3 as well. Make sure that you research all of these. These are gonna cost you literally no time, no money, no nothing, but they're gonna save you so many materials. So go to your stronghold, go to your lab, and make sure to research all of these at the bottom, all of these honing ones. And then we'll end up over inside of Vern. So now we have ourselves our character at 500 eye level, and we need to, of course, make a little bit of progress. So what we're going to do is we're going to need to hone. But you see, of course, you're maybe not going to have some materials. You can see I have no shards, no reds, no leap stones, etc. So this is where the events come into play, because in my opinion, you should never try to push characters without events, and you actually don't need a big event either. Because if you look at this, I'm going to open up the event shop. We have ourselves Twinkle Twinkle currently. We have the event Guardian Raid, Mokoko Bootcamp, and the Jar is always there. So if we, for example, go to Mokoko Bootcamp shop, we had ourselves, you know, these shard bags in here. You can see there's going to be these blues and reds. Event Guardian Raid, we have the super OP special shop, which has a lot of Orehas and stuff in there. We need these kind of chests, because if you're going to look at the market, you can see a tier 2 shard bag is like 1500 gold, which we're never going to spend because we're going to need quite a few of these. So that's already going to be your first requirement. You're going to have some material boxes from these events. So of course, just go ahead and grind these. They're not that crazy, but you can see we're going to need some shards. We're going to need some leap stones. We're going to as well need some Orehas in the future as well, but we're going to show you as well where to get those. But of course, you can always hover over the items and it will tell you if there's going to be these lower tier items in there as well. Of course, if you do not have any of the bags, you can always resort to just go ahead and buying them from there, but in my opinion, these bags from the store are just the best way to do it. So now we got some materials from the events and everywhere. By the way, all these boxes I have are literally just from events, so it's not like, oh, I bought these or I swiped for these. These are all literally just from event shops. I never really use them because I always save them for making new alts. We're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna grab ourselves a few of these chests. We're gonna go ahead and start with 5 leapstone chests. You can see we're already getting 900 leapstones. We'll do the same thing with shards. We'll get, like, let's just say 10 of these. This is gonna give us 200 shard bags, and then we'll get ourselves a bunch of blues as well. We'll open up like 10 of these. And then it's just up to the most boring part, in my opinion, of making a new character, and that is going to be honing the start. And it's just gonna be like this. You're just gonna hone and hone and hone until there is no levels left. So that's what we're gonna do first. This is gonna be the last piece. Boom, there we go. So now all our gear is done, and you can see we are full 1100 eye level. So now we are 1100 eye level, and by the way, this is the amount of materials we spent. So we did spend quite a few blues, quite a little bit of reds, but shards we only spent like 100k, and we spent, I think it's like 600 leap stones for everything. So we're now gonna have to get ourselves our new set of gear. We're gonna have to do our chaos dungeon. So of course, the thing you're gonna run into is that you can see you actually need to do some story. story. So you have two options for this, of course, and that's actually doing the story yourself, which is gonna take a while. I'll take it. I'll be honest. It's gonna take you quite a while to do the story. The other option you have is spending some gold. And this is why I say, like, you don't need gold. It's gonna help out, you know, if you have some extra gold. But you're gonna do the exact same thing for knowledge transfer. Because you see, you can go ahead and transfer knowledge and get yourself Ronel, Yorn, Phaeton, and Punica. Just done if you spend the money. So we're gonna do this for the video, but of course that's just because I am not gonna do the story, and I never do this. I hate doing the story. It's just a waste of time. So because we transferred, we do get ourselves some nice free gems, which I don't really care about too much. I'm just gonna equip a few. I don't know if it's gonna be the right skill, so we don't really care about that. Don't forget to set up your arc passive and that kind of stuff to make sure you can even take on the chaos dungeons. Now, because we either have done the story or we skipped it, we can now do our Punica chaos dungeon. It's gonna hook us up with some new gear that we can use to hone into the 1580 era. There we go. We are done with the chaos dungeon. You can see we have a bunch of gear, so let's go ahead and transfer this. All right, so we're gonna click gear transfer, and we're just gonna go ahead and transfer all our pieces, get us also a nice +1 on them, and then we are good to go to continue to the next part. So now your character should look something like this. We just equipped some of the accessories we got. We equipped like a random stone. We equipped some of all the gear as well, and we now have a lot more HP. We went from like 16,000 to 77,000 HP, which is very good. So now we're back to the same old, same old. We're gonna have to continue honing. So here again, the event chest will come in clutch. You're gonna go have to use these once again. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna get ourselves some honing shards. This time we sadly have to use these ones right here. They're not gonna give you that many, but this is where the priciest part comes from, making a new alt. But you know, these items still are free. You know, we're getting these from the events. It's not that we had to actually pay for these, so it is kind of what it is. Besides the solo mode shop, I would as well recommend you guys doing tower a little bit, because this is going to give you some free materials. You can see if you do yourself Fate Spire, you can get yourself free mats, free shard bags from here. Fortune Spire as well has some tier 3 bags as well, so this is a good source to get yourself a bunch of materials right in one go. It's a little bit of an annoying thing to do, but if you combine this and a solo mode shop, you actually get a lot of free mats if you do not have them from any of the event shops. Okay, your character is now going to look something like this, and we're going to have to do some solo mode. So the big one, of course, we're going to have to take on in the near future is going to be Brel, but we're going to have to start with the Valtan Vykas, because we're going to need their gear first, because we cannot transfer it over. I actually totally forgot about this. I did already do a solo mode gate, so just a little spoiler, but you can see right here, if we have this gear right here and I try to transfer it to the Brel gear, you cannot do this. It doesn't allow you. So we need a in-between stage, which is going to be, of course, Valtan and Vykas gear. You can see you can as well buy yourself some free mats in here. Just join any raid, because there's going to be people that are doing this raid, but this is going to be pretty easy on the eye level you have currently, because you know you are 1490 and these are just a 1430, 1415 raid. But there's a lot of people that do these normally as well. You can see right there, just like a re-clear, like a super easy raid. Just get yourself some materials from there, because the hard modes do give more materials than the normal modes, so it is kind of worth it joining these raids and getting your materials. We have the 10 materials for Valtan and Vykas from the solo mode shop, but there's a bit of a predicament, because look at this. This is what we actually need to make ourselves a full gear set of Valtan Vykas gear in week 1. So keep in mind, of course, if you do this through multiple weeks, it's gonna be totally fine, but if you want to do this week 1, it's gonna be really hard, because look, you need 25 Vykas wings to make the weapon, you need 10 more to make yourself the gloves, and then you need 40 in total to make yourself the helmet, body, legs, and shoulders from Valtan pieces. But if we take a look at how many materials you actually get from the raid, this is from a Vykas hard. Double these materials, by the way, because you're getting yourself a double bonus for doing it for the first few times. So that means you get yourselves 12 and 12. So you need to buy that extra auction box already to reach even the 25 that you need. So that's already going to be an issue. And then we're going to have the same issue for Valtan. And we need, of course, 40 in total from Valtan. We already have 10, so we need 30 more. And you can see that sadly we get ourselves only a maximum of 29. So even if you wanted to, you do not have a full gear set of Valtan right away. There's one way to cheese this, though. I'm going to show this right now. We're going to go ahead and get ourselves one shoulder piece of this as well. I'm going to quickly dismantle one of these, because otherwise it doesn't work. So we're going to get ourselves our stuff back. If you do yourself your Brel raid, and you're going to get yourself the same piece, so we're going to get ourselves the same shoulder piece as well. So we're transferring the valtan piece on our purple. So boom, there we go. It's now transferred. And what we then can do after that is we take the same piece and we transfer it again with the valtan piece with the Brel version. So now the Brel version is going to be plus 12, but we gain back our piece from valtan. So what we can do is dismantle this again and we can craft a new piece, and we gain back the full 10 materials that we used before. So we technically use 0 of them. We just use them as sort of a placeholder to get ourselves our Brel version equipped. And you can see we can now repeat this again. We're going to go grab ourselves our chest piece. And now our chest plate is done as well, and we're going to go ahead and dismantle this once again. And then if we now grab ourselves, for example, the helmet, we now already have 3 gear pieces and we gain a lot of eye levels, and that is even without using any of the other stuff, which is very cool. We ended up now with a nice 4 pieces of gear already done, and we need only the legs and we need the weapon. So that means we do need to go ahead and do a Vykas heart to get the full weapon, which kind of sucks. And if we then do probably the valtan in any form, solo mode or join the hard mode or normal mode, doesn't really matter, we get enough to get the pants done, and then we should have our full gear set ready, at least to transfer to Brel whenever we get enough materials. So of course our issue right now currently is we are going to have to do Vykas in hard mode. We have to, because otherwise we do not get enough materials week 1, and we have to do a random valtan to finish off the last 2 pieces. But even if we go ahead and do gate 1, 2, 3, and 4 of Brel, we do not have enough materials, sadly, to finish off the full set, and we're gonna need the full set to, of course, hone to 1580. As you can see right here, if we go ahead and transfer a gear, we get ourselves free plus 12 from the game from transferring 15 to the Brel set. So we're gonna have to get ourselves, of course, 1580, which is gonna be plus 19 with the gear. You can as well see you're gonna need quite a few materials. You're gonna need yourself a nice 1500 Orehas. You need yourself around 500,000 honor shards, some silver, and some other stuff as well. You can see on the screen right here. That's technically the only thing you have to do. You're just gonna have to farm your chaos dungeons, just buy their solar raid shops, have some chests from events, and just use them on the materials that you need to get yourself your character 1580. Don't forget to do in between as well, of course, all the knowledge transfers, the stories to unlock yourself the higher tiers of chaos dungeons. But that's technically the only way to get yourself more 1580 alts. And at 1580, of course, you can do yourself a con, which could be a nice source of gold income. If you do yourself all your solo raids and raids, you get yourself around 10,000 gold every character per week, which is pretty decent. It shows you need a little bit of investment to get yourself those characters up to a 1580 standard, but it's not too insane. It's just kind of annoying that Brel takes that long. I'll quickly show you one alternative route I do use often on my characters if I don't really feel like doing the Brel route, which I think the Brel route is really stupid. That it takes that long to get yourself your full set is just kind of annoying. So if you see right here, if you buy a power pass, I know this is gonna be real money, but this is for the people that maybe just don't want to be bothered. So what you can actually do if you want to spend a little bit of money, it's gonna cost you $10 if you want to skip the Brel part, is you're just gonna do your story all the way up to Algasha. You can see I didn't knowledge transfer just yet. I don't really see that much of a point currently, but if you go ahead and do yourself the story up until Algasha, you have this completed, then every time you complete a story, you get yourself a discount of 1100 royal crystals. So currently for me to go to Voldis, it's going to cost me 3300, but if I would have done the story or skipped it with knowledge transfer, which I could do right now because I'm high enough eye level, because you see this is going to be 1460, so I already can go ahead and do that. You can go ahead and buy yourself the Voldis pass for 10 bucks. This will put you right away at 1540 and puts you in Voldis. So what is nice about 1540, it means you get a full upgraded set of Brel gear for free from the game for 10 bucks, which is so much time saved, so much hassle saved. You don't have to do any other things as well. You just get a full 1540 set, and then you only have to hone the last 40 eye levels, which is not that bad. Because you can see, instead of ending up at, say, 1510, we will end up at 1540, so we only have to do 4 hones in total. So you can see it's going to cut down your materials as well that you need together by quite a lot. So that's why I think if you want to spend a little bit of money, like 10 bucks, this is one of the best purchases you can do for an alt account, because it's just going to save you a lot of time and a lot of hassle, in my opinion. But then it's just straight sailing. Go from either your 1510 stage all the way to 1580, or go from 1540 after you bought that pass for 10 bucks to 1580 and just have your alt ready to farm yourself some gold. gold. And now you gotta look something like this. You'll have yourself a nice 1580. This is my random death blade, which is a 1580. You'll have yourself your full Belshazzar gear at plus 19. You even get maybe some Akan gear already, which you transferred over. You can see, get yourself a little bit of an eye level boost from that, but you know, it is what it is, and you're just gonna be ready to farm some gold, which is pretty nice, to be honest. So there we have it, guys. That is how you get yourself your alts to 1580. It's technically just like save up boxes that you get from events and just go ahead and hone. The only hurdle, of course, is gonna be the Belshazzar part and maybe even the Valtan Vykas for you. But like I said, with that trick I showed you with the transferring gear, it's actually you're not gonna need that many materials. You can just do it in 1 week, which is pretty nice. You do need to do yourself a Vykas hard. You cannot do a solo mode because it will not give you enough materials, but just one random Valtan will be enough to finish off the gear set as well, which is pretty cool. So that's gonna be it for me. If you guys did enjoy, I would highly appreciate a like down below. Guys, subscribe if you're new. If there's any other tips or tricks that you guys have to share with everyone, then of course leave them in the comment section down below. If you need any more help, of course, be sure to join me on twitch.tv/ImDefild. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys again soon for another video. Take care, guys. 3, 2, and 1. Besides the solo mode shop, I would as well recommend you guys doing tower a little bit, because this is going to give you some free materials. You can see if you do yourself Fate Spire, you can get yourself free mats, free shard bags from here. Fortune Spire as well has some tier 3 bags as well. So this is a good source to get yourself a bunch of materials right in one go. It's a little bit of an annoying thing to do, but if you combine this and a solo mode shop, you actually get a lot of free mats if you do not have them from any of the event shops.